it's an amazing relationship. I'm really blown away. I wish they could come to every meeting that I go to.
Well, kia ora and welcome to Microsoft ISV Chats. Today we're talking with Carmen Vicelich, the CEO and founder of Valocity Global and founder of Data Insight. Valocity has an amazing team. They're an award-winning company with recognition, not just here in New Zealand, but also internationally. Hi, Carmen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, let's start at the beginning. Tell us about Valocity. Who are you guys and who are your customers?
So Valocity transforms the mortgage and valuation process. So all of us have gone through the process, or hopefully we'll go through the process of buying a home. And we solve two big frictions there. Increased complexity and regulatory compliance means that lenders have to do more and more. And at the same time, as customers, we expect a more seamless and relevant experience, and we expect things to be seamless and fast. So Valocity solves that through digitizing the ecosystem and streamlining the process. So our customers are banks, and we work with valuers, consumers and brokers, but we work very deeply in the lending sector.
That's great. I mean, what were some of your key lessons when you were starting the journey to become a successful ISV, things that really other ISVs could pick up on?
I think that really the lessons, the things, it came down to three things, and that is people, passion, and purpose. So, it's having the right people and having the dream team of people that think outside the box and are creative and are excited about new technology and new ways of doing things, and then actually collaborating with like-minded clients that are also innovators, wanting to do things differently and wanting to actually transform. It does come down to passion and purpose. So, actually we're democratizing the home buying process to make it easier and better for everybody, and particularly in regions that don't have credit data, the bank can rely on our decisions to actually say yes. So that's pretty exciting, and that drives our passion and purpose to say just the way that we do things, just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't make it right. And that actually fuels the innovation and the constant energy that our people bring. So it is really about those three things.
Yeah, you mentioned getting the dream team there of people, easier said than done, of course, and then also working with like-minded organizations. I wonder if you could sort of just explore that a little bit for us. I mean, how do you go about doing that? Because it's one of those things you can just say, but I think a lot of people struggle with it.
That's such a good question, Luke, and it's so true. Everybody talks about innovation and everybody knows they need to do digital transformation and focus on the customer and evolve, and technology and data and everything is rapidly evolving. But actually the doing is, execution is where everybody struggles. And I think it's very much a cultural mindset to actually recognize no one knows what the future is going to bring, but change is a given. And so you actually have to have that open-minded mindset to go, we're looking for new ways to do things, we're experimenting, we're doing MVP, and we're actually just solving the complex and making it simple and simplifying it. And so it's a problem-solving mindset, and most importantly for our clients, it's a desire that they actually do have the culture and they do want to put the customer first, and they do actually want to innovate and adopt these new technologies. And I suppose you guys would have seen that with the adoption of cloud. You still see a lot of questions going, even from big banks and markets that are completely manual with the evaluation process. They have questions around cloud and actually using our infrastructure. And when we say, well, actually, what do you do today? They're emailing things out with no security to valuers, for example, that have a Gmail account. So actually the security around a platform and around the cloud is so advanced to what they're doing. So it's actually having those conversations so they recognize this is a better way to do it. And yes, it's new, but actually the reasons to do it are so much stronger and better than the reasons not to.
I'm wondering if I can ask you to be perhaps vulnerable just for a second and tell us maybe some of the challenges that you've faced in the journey to becoming the business that you are today.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I guess the first challenge is really adoption. So if you think about our platform, lenders rely on it as business critical every single day, and they're lending billions of dollars through the Valocity platform. At the same time, the key decision maker is the chief risk officer. And we were going, this is new, it's innovation, it's transformation, and no one's used it, and it's business critical. So we really had to build a platform that was incredibly secure, incredibly robust, bank grade, and world class from day one. And that was really crucial to getting adoption, to actually be able to answer all those concerns and more. And so that really meant that our infrastructure, our technology, our data security, and all of those things had to be world class, or banks just couldn't say yes to us. So that was one of the challenges. And I guess then as we move into new markets, it's actually getting the credibility where we at least now are proven. In New Zealand, we're the largest platform connecting the most lenders, brokers, and consumers and valuers, and recently adding insurance as well. And globally, when we go into new markets, they don't know us as well, and it's actually getting that credibility.
That's great. Let's talk about your business succeeding internationally. I mean, we've got a lot of ISVs tuned in today, all at different stages in their life cycle of evolution. What advice would you offer on how to best scale their business beyond the shores of New Zealand?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think for us, we were from day one, our ambition was global domination and to be world class, because we recognize New Zealand's a really small market, and we're passionate about being all that we can be. And so that's a mindset, it's a culture, it's a philosophy that you always know what you're building has to be scalable, has to be global, has to be best practice. And so that mindset brings you, one of our philosophies was strategic innovation, so constantly innovating, but strategically there's so much we can do, with disciplined execution. And disciplined execution means it can't break, it's got to be robust, and it's got to be all those things. So for businesses scaling globally, I think, set up as you mean to continue. Obviously, you're going to always have to add the right functions and infrastructure. So as you go into different countries and you scale geographically, you really need the discipline of knowing actually who does what and how does the flow work, because otherwise those people in other countries won't know who to go to for what, who's doing what. So to actually scale efficiently and leverage the resources that you have, it's very, very important to grow your business structure, your business functionality as you grow your footprint, and then to make sure that what you're building is actually broad enough and flexible and configurable enough that you can go to different markets. Because if you think about what we've done, we've gone into India from New Zealand, where I remember talking to one of the banks in the very first meetings, and we asked them how many valuations they do in a month, and they do more in a month than New Zealand does in a year, one bank. And we were like, pardon? Just confirming. And, the scale is just insane. So if we hadn't built our technology, being able to do that, we just wouldn't be able to enter those markets.
I've noticed that a lot of the ISVs that we've chatted with over this series have said exactly what you said, and that is we had this dream straight off to have sort of global reach, global domination. How important do you think your vision for the firm was to the success of it today?
Oh, it's so important. And I always align it. I get teased a lot because I use the analogy of a boat to say, we're all on the boat, and everyone has to know what island we're going for, because then we can really, all be rowing in the same direction or flying the sail and doing the right thing to get there. So if you don't actually have that vision of where you're going, the tide's going to change, the wind's going to change, and you're just going to drift. So having that really singular vision and that passion of this is what we're doing, then you have alignment. And alignment is so important, because then everyone knows who's doing what's most important, and where are we going. So it's absolutely fundamental, because if the founder or the leadership team is wishy-washy, well, we want to do this and we hope we're going to do this and maybe we could do this, then people won't believe. And I guess you won't actually get that energy that really just makes the magic happen. And we've just seen that happen time and time again by having the right people, and most importantly by having that aligned vision and that collaboration with our team and also with the industry. So when we built Valocity, I went to the US and spoke to lenders there and said, why do you do that way? Why? Went to Australia and spoke to lenders and valuers there and said, why do you do it like that? And then we started blank sheet of paper to go actually to design this process with the best technology, with the best data flow, and with the best customer experience for the customer and all the customers, being the bank customer, the valuer customer, the broker customer. And if we customize those user journeys for everybody to be better than anyone's ever done it before, then we're definitely going to win. And that's so important because, especially because we're digitizing an ecosystem, and that's incredibly complex when you think about it. Uber wouldn't work if you didn't have the drivers wanting to join, and it wouldn't work if you didn't have the consumers wanting to hop into a private car. And so it's the same for our platform. If we didn't encourage the participation and build the relevant customer journeys for each part of our ecosystem, we wouldn't get the participation and the connectivity that delivers that transformation. So we have to connect valuers, we have to connect brokers, we have to connect consumers, and we have to connect recently insurance and obviously lenders, all in our single one smart platform, Valocity. And so that's incredibly complex, and you actually have to really delve in and collaborate with each of those participants. And I think that complexity makes it exciting, and also makes it that it's very much about people and understanding the user journeys.
This is gold, Carmen. I can just imagine people pausing this video to take notes in their journals as you come up with all of this amazing stuff. What you're saying, and I love it, is it's so much more than just the tech solution, isn't it? There's just so much to being a successful ISV.
There really is. Your technology and your data is crucial, and your strategy around that. But then everything is all about people, because no matter what problem you're solving, it's a people problem. And actually, if you do human-centered design and think about the people experience and actually collaborate, then you'll really understand the problem. And then you can actually bring the technology to really solve that problem and the data flow that you want to for those insights, so that you're constantly learning as well.
Yeah, I understand the Valocity platform is a Microsoft co-sell solution. How has partnering with Microsoft helped your business?
Partnering with Microsoft has been incredible for our business. We actually, really the most important thing for us is credibility, so that lenders can rely on the Valocity platform to lend billions and billions of dollars through our platform, and it's business critical. So especially in markets where we don't have the existing footprint and the existing brand, and we're completely new, going in with a Microsoft partnership and bringing Microsoft into those meetings and having them put their business card on the table is huge for our credibility, and really helping accelerate the sales cycle of a B2B enterprise deal. And when you think about that, almost every bank in the world is using Microsoft in some way. So it just brings that assurance that as a growing startup business is harder to get. So that's really fundamental. And I guess the investment that Microsoft also puts into data security, to cloud security, and the technology also further strengthens our offering to say, actually, this is not just something that we put in some hokey cloud, or we're trying the cheap way. This is world-class infrastructure that you can now plug and play as a bank, and move away from your legacy technology or your manual processes, and completely digitize and transform this business critical element.
What did that journey look like for you in terms of partnering with Microsoft and your two organizations circling together? Do you remember when it first started, and what was that process like?
It was very much our CTO actually deciding, what is the best technology that can scale properly for us, and looking at what was out there, and then deciding what is the right technology. And very much around that was also the right people. So we very much a people business, and the thinking. And we love Microsoft's ambition to make the world a better place and actually transform with technology for greater good. And that's really aligned to our philosophy, because if you think about it, we've gone New Zealand, Australia, and then India and Asia, and we haven't gone the US and the UK. And we could have gone there, and banks are certainly very much wanting to digitize there and have the efficiencies. But we're really passionately driven around going to markets where we can make the most difference that might be more complex. And in many of these markets, because it's been such a cash society, people don't have a credit score, and they're getting their first ever home. So if we can make the valuation process and the actual value of the property so robust, so reliable that a bank can say yes, then that's game changing for us to actually democratize home buying for those that actually potentially couldn't. Part of the partnership as well that was really drawn us to Microsoft is your discipline around actually things can't go wrong. And I think with some other players, it's a philosophy and a culture philosophy of actually understanding, things can happen, but for us, shit can't happen. We have banks on this platform, and we really need that really high degree of always on, always compliant, always that discipline. So for us, we really looked for a big partner that could actually also have that same cultural understanding of working with banks and insurance. There is a discipline that you do need, and that support that we get from you is really important.
We're living in very unusual times at the moment, and obviously the world has changed so much because of COVID-19, especially in your industry and the real estate sector. How has Valocity adapted with the changes to these restrictions and the lockdown? I mean, your business must look a lot different.
Yeah, you're right, Luke. And I guess it comes down to being close to your customers and understanding, what are these changes and how do we innovate and agilely deliver what our customers need. And yes, it's totally unprecedented. I mean, we didn't even know the word at Christmas time. If you'd told us the words lockdown, social distancing, global pandemic, virus, we'd all be like, you're dreaming. And this is our lives now. We live and breathe this every day. And I guess so we have to recognize the world has changed because we have changed as people. We're much more concerned around who comes into our home and around who we're exposing ourselves to. And so when you think about the home buying process in many markets, they still have to send a valuer to the property. Yet we've been in lockdown, and certainly in Australia and New Zealand, that's been a huge issue for continuity. People still need to get refinancing. They still need to buy that property that they were in the middle of buying, but they can't send a valuer. So what we did is actually innovated and launched Valocity Connect, which is an app we'd actually originally designed for the India market to digitize tens of thousands of valuers. So it's bank grade security. And what we did is actually put that in the hands of the property occupier. So through a seamless link, they download the app, then they can follow a customized template that's modular and configurable. So it's very much like the valuer would go through that process. They can seamlessly take photos on their phone, and importantly, it geotags, so the lender or the insurer knows it is that property. It timestamps it so they know it's a current photo. They can then sign it with a digital signature and click to share, and that comes back seamlessly into the Valocity platform for the valuer to do his bit, for the bank to see the photos of the inside of the property and the quality, and for the loan to take place. So that's a new innovation that we've launched. It's the only app of its kind custom built for valuations that we're aware of globally. And again, it had to be data secure, bank grade security, but very intuitive. Otherwise, you won't get adoption, and completely seamless to use.
Yeah, they say that necessity is the mother of invention or innovation, and certainly over this time, it has been incredible to see ISVs and businesses innovate so incredibly. And I guess you must be very proud of your team over this period.
Yeah, it's been incredibly rewarding. And I think, it just comes down to everything is about people. And it really is, the appetite that our people have to just be constantly pushing the boundaries and delivering things so fast and so innovative, really, really quickly to meet our customer demands has been amazing. So it's been quite exciting. And I think, though, that's what drives them. So one of our philosophies is better never stops. And that's where it's really exciting for us to be working with new technology, new data tools, and new customers and new locations to constantly keep learning and keep innovating.
You've given us a lot to think about over this conversation, which is so great. I wonder if you could give ISVs that haven't reached the stage that Valocity is at, maybe your top 3 points or the things that you would tell yourself perhaps if you were starting the journey over again.
I think, the top 3 points are really focus. There's so much that you can be doing, and it's very easy to be drawn by a lot of noise of things that are possible in terms of what you're doing, innovating in the technology, noise around partnerships, and noise around how you could, potentially evolve your product to do different things. And I think that's the Kiwi mentality, that we want to be all things to all people. But focus is so important. You need to choose choose who you're going to partner with. You need to choose who's got the same values as you, and you need to choose the right team. And then you really need to focus on what you're doing and do that better than anybody else in the world. Focus deeply on that problem, understanding your users and your sectors, and really actually go deep and just do it better than anybody, so that nobody can catch you. So it's really focus. And then I think it's passion. If you don't have passion for what you're doing, if you don't love the problem that you're solving and the difference that you're making in the world, then most definitely you need to think about you're not in the right sector, because it's going to be hard. So I think it's passion, it's purpose, and it's people, and very much being focused on whatever that purpose is.
I wonder if you could tell us about the partnership with B&Z and tell us what we're about to see, because we're going to play one of your videos.
Thanks, Luke. I guess, as I said earlier, lots of businesses know they need to innovate. They know, they talk about transformation, but actually not many actually do the doing and the execution. So our partnership with B&Z is incredibly special, because we've always found them so like-minded, with their drive to do customer centricity and to continue to innovate. And so we'll never forget that they were our first ever bank in the world. They chose us when we were unproven and untested, and nobody knew us. And we've continued to innovate and partner with them and collaborate with them. So it's a very, very deep relationship and very, very special. And I guess that's where we don't call our clients, or we very much see it as a partnership, because the more we work closely with them and understand their problems and what they're trying to do, the better we are, because the problems that we're solving for them are global problems and everybody has the same one. So collaboration and partnership has really been the secret to our success. So B&Z is a very, very special relationship, as well as the other clients that have then followed to choose Valocity.
Our mission at the B&Z is about helping New Zealanders be good with money so they can do great things with it. And Valocity is a great partner for us, and how you've partnered with us around our valuations and helping us make the experience for our customers more seamless.
I think you've really said it so well there, that it is all about more seamless journeys, and we're seeing this increased friction globally with increased complexity around lending and responsibility and compliance. But at the same time, as customers, we just expect this seamless and relevant experience. And so when we were building the platform, we were thinking about that, and I think B&Z's really living and breathing that every day, in terms of that customer journey and how do you make customers' lives easy.
Yes. What I love about Valocity is you are data-driven, insight-driven, and you're digital first. And so you're right, how it embeds then into our journeys and how you help us actually put the customer at the centre. So what I do love about the benefits of the partnership, you've challenged us as well to be thinking much more customer and to be orienting our policies, procedures at the back end, but with the customer first. And again, as you said, our customers are all getting trained and have better experiences with the Amazons and with Apple and Netflix. They expect their service providers to all be giving them that level of service, that level of data insights, that level of integration. So I think that's why it works so well.
I think you're really so right there. Actually we can't be bound by legacy technology or historical processes anymore, and it is about recognising if you're not digital, if you're not agile, if you're not actually making data-driven decisions, you're just not competing.
Absolutely, and I think in our home lending it's so important for us to help our customers actually realise their home ownership ambitions and dreams. So we've really focused on that, and I really value how we've come together, how we're thinking about valuations differently, how we're embedding those insights so that our bankers can be making faster decisions. And I can't wait for what we're going to do next as well, because I think this is a great example where we've come together, the strengths of both our organisations, and we're working alongside each other with that customer need at the centre, and really redesigning how we think about that home ownership journey, from even before they're thinking about it right through.
Oh, it's super exciting, and I also can't wait because the future is ours to create. So huge kudos to B&Z. Thank you for being those partners.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a privilege to partner with you and keep pushing us to be better as well.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
That's so good. It's great to hear what that relationship is like and what that partnership is built on. Carmen, I know you obviously did the interview for that video, but even when you see it now, it must sort of give you the warm fuzzies to know that your business is doing such a great job.
Oh, thank you. It does. And it's actually, the most rewarding thing is actually the relationships and seeing the difference that we make. The little comments, whether it's from a homeowner who's gone through the process and we've made it easier and faster for them and really saved the day and by making it happen. And as well, especially with, institutions like the BNZ that are so well known and, such iconic brands and actually the partnerships that we work on together. So it really is. That's what, success means for us. It's actually when we make our clients successful. So yeah, very much so.
That's great. Now, without giving away too many trade secrets, what's next for Valocity? Can you tell us what's on the horizon for you guys?
Global domination, Luke. So I guess, we've got incredible market fit in the New Zealand market. And, we've done extremely well in Australia, working with global innovators like ING, who is recognised as the preferred bank in Australia and one of the most successful brands, recognised as one of the best digital banks in the world. And then we're continuing to work with really incredible partners globally. So it's continuing to innovate. So very much, technology evolves and data that's out there evolves. And I guess recognizing that, continue to challenge the norm to say, well, just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't make it right. And how do we continue to streamline and digitize our ecosystem?
Well, Carmen, hot off the press, of course, and the Prime Minister announced this just the other day in New Zealand, but we are going to become a Microsoft data center region, and they're expanding Azure, of course, which is very exciting. How is that going to affect Valocity?
Yeah, that's incredibly exciting. And I think, very exciting for the whole of New Zealand and not just Valocity, and also for my other business, Data Insight, who works with large lenders wanting to leverage the power of data. So I think it's incredibly exciting for us. We do see, because we work in banking, the importance of local data sovereignty, but also really innovative lenders wanting to get these leading edge tools. For example, we're working with Kiwi Bank, who's just incredible, Steve Jerkovich, wanting to constantly innovate the data stories that they're doing and their customer centricity. And all of our banks are really leveraging the power of data to have more relevant and seamless conversations. So having this as a local data center is just absolutely game changing and extremely exciting.
Carmen, it would be great if you could expand on the partnership and where that partnership is going next.
Sure. It's very exciting for us because it means that we're now, as a gold partner, we have access to new tools and new technologies for free. So we can do experimentation and actually we can innovate even faster. And then, our lenders and our partners are looking to us to constantly lead their innovation. So actually working directly with Microsoft in partnership with them also helps us lead those transformations. For example, we're working on a Microsoft Teams rollout with one of our lenders, booked in a hackathon. And so it's constantly actually challenging each other and challenging the norms. We're also getting additional support from Microsoft in terms of pre-sales, with Microsoft sponsoring some sales channels, etc., to test new leads. So those kind of things are pretty exciting for us. And I guess one of the most exciting things was also when Microsoft brought Satya down all the way to New Zealand, and as a partner, having lunch with him and meeting him one-on-one and being seated beside him was certainly a personal schoolgirl crush moment, showing my geekdom. But yeah, just really exciting and really, really drives us to keep on going.
Yes, thank God for Microsoft Teams, eh? It's become like sliced bread over this time. Carmen Vicelich, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate all of your wisdom and all of your insights today.
Thank you for having me, and looking forward to the future, because the future is ours to create. So thanks for having me and all the support.